righty now, the 9 to noon radio presentation rolls on at FM 100.3 KFAN. Yesterday, we mentioned in an on-the-fly, truncated, kind of a drive-by Vikes Bites that somebody approached me at Canterbury Park before a race call, adjacent to the paddock. Very kind individual, and we called it FIRA. Fairness in Rube Act. Fairness in Rube Act. Because my man rolled up to me and he was like, what do you think of them Queens? What do you think of them Queens? And I said, can't wait for the season. Think it should be fun. Should be Green Bay game 1. And started from there. And I could tell that he was angling for something. It ended up being a quarterback-related question that I thought was very cool. But we had to jump through some hoops. We had to go through some gyrations and or verbal, we just met each other histrionics before we could get there, because he's like, the Flores defense, it's with those 2 new defensive tackles, it's going to jump on everybody like a plague. And I'm like a what? He said, like a plague. And I said, like a plague? You mean plague? Yeah, it should have an amoeba effect to it, where the problems are coming from unforeseen and unscouted angles, like a plague. I completely understand that. And he said, you don't call races down here, do you? I said no. He's like, you don't call races next to the paddock. And I said, next to the paddock? No, I don't call races in or by the paddock. There's a Vox box upstairs, and that's where I go call races. It's not in the paddock. It's in the paddock. And he said, oh, my bad. I'm from Oregon, so therefore, it's I'm not really used to paddocks. And I said, well, I've never been to that I've never been to that state, but Oregon is a wonderful place. It sounds like a wonderful place to visit. It sounds beautiful. Then the FIRA hit, Fairness and Rube Act. The individual, the man, asked me, hey, do you think Kyler Murray in any way is playing for his career? And I said, like if things don't go well this year, he's done, excommunicated from the National Football League? And he said, no, not done, but like his starting career. And I said, hey, that's that has some juicy appeal to it. I think I'll write that out. Nice to meet you. I think the guy's name was Marty. And if you're going back to visit family in Oregon, or as you say, Oregon, as we chat next to the paddock, or as you say, paddock, hopefully everything works out beautifully for you, and enjoy the races. And thank you very much for the question, because I'm gonna write this thing out. I like that question. Is Kyler Murray in any way playing for any part of his career? If he does start week 1 for the Minnesota Vikings. Now, Kyler, in his career, I believe through this year, through the 2026 season, will have made $206,791,784 through the first 8 years of his career. So Kyler Murray has enough money, even after taxes. Kyler Murray has enough money to not care. Or Kyler Murray has enough money for the project not to work. So put that shiny toy piece to the side, but just know that he, that's the situation with him. And that's in no way saying he won't care or the project won't work. But this absolutely is a project, no matter how, it's my opinion, obviously, but no matter how Kyler Murray, Kevin O'Connell, now Nolan Teasley, no matter how anybody wants to look at it, I firmly believe this absolutely is a project, and the head coach here has been quite good with veteran projects. Now, Darnold is one of the great high-end examples of that, honestly, in the history of the National Football League. I mean, you can go back and find top 5 picks that were kind of fizzling out, then all of a sudden not only found the right spot, but found the right spot, won 14 games, had a lot to do with it, entered the MVP conversation for a hot tick, and gave you a great chance to get to the Super Bowl. And then he leaves and he wins the Super Bowl, but the reclaiming of the reclamation part of the project was here with Kevin O'Connell and with this coaching staff. So Darnold is truly one of the great high-end examples of a project landing in Minnesota and reclaiming whatever it had that got it there in the first place. Carson Wentz. How about this? Carson Wentz signs August 24th of last year, and he beat Cincinnati 3 weeks later. August 24th, it's like, here's your playbook. 3 weeks later, he beat a National Football League team, having absorbed the playbook and the intricate nature of the nuance and the tentacles to each play that comes with said playbook. Well, that's amazing. I mean, that's amazing that you get this Tolstoy voluminous playbook, and now you're beating a National Football League team 3 weeks later. And for Wentz, then he went on to win a couple of games and gave the Vikings a chance against Pittsburgh in Dublin and against Philadelphia. Carson Wentz, fast learner, but the teachers matter here too. Is Kyler a fast learner? Is Kyler Murray a fast learner? The same teachers are here and are proven. So ponder that. And in what ways, if any, is Kyler Murray playing for his career? But playing for his career could mean if this doesn't work and you get benched, nobody will ever start you again. It could mean that. I'm not saying that's the case, but if Marty from Oregon rolls up with some fire of fairness and Ruback wondering if Kyler Murray at this point is playing for any form, any part of his career, well, this is part of the context, wondering if he's a fast learner. In what ways, if any, is Kyler Murray playing for any part of his career? And playing for any part of his career could mean if this doesn't work and you get benched or you don't win the job into the Green Bay game, will anybody ever start you again? If I'm Kyler Murray and I choose to become a blank slate here, these are some things that I would be pondering. If I'm Kyler Murray and here it is, I'm a blank slate. Present tense, past times behind, don't fall for the same old line. I'm a blank slate. I'd be pondering things like this. Like if I'm Kyler, I'd be like, I've been the best at what I do most of my life, but now I'm not. Why? Am I capable of, at some point next season, which would be the upcoming season, training camp within a month, am I capable at some point of that equation entering MVP conversation like Sam Darnold did here a couple of years ago? The arm's not as accurate or as strong as some others, and that would include Sam Darnold. And this offense is not constructed to run quarterbacks like Baltimore or, say, Buffalo. So if I'm Kyler, I'd be like, so given I have been the very best there is at what I do most of my life, and now I'm not, and nobody in the universe anywhere even ranks me as a top 10 quarterback in the league, how can I show the Vikings coaches, teammates, and fans I am that guy? I just have been lost for a little while in a football culture antithetical in several ways to the way things are done here. Now, with Kyler Murray, even if he completely fails, which he won't, 95% chance somebody wants him as a backup next year, and next year being 2027, and there even will be some who think, quote, they couldn't do it over there in Minnesota, but we're smarter and more squared away than them. So watch what we can do with Kyler Murray, end quote. I mean, this is the Shield. There's arrogance to it. There's one-upsmanship. There's the proverbial chip on the shoulder at all times. So, yeah, I mean, if things don't work here for Kyler Murray for whatever the reason, there will be others who are like, oh, no, 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 no. I absolutely hold the key to opening the door to this young man becoming one of the, if not the, very best at what he does, like everybody told him he was, or perhaps he was for a majority of his life. The what part of his career is on the line narrative means his starting career. So with my man next to the paddock, I think his name was Marty from Oregon. You know, when he asked the question, that's kind of what that's kind of the conclusion we got to with his question, is that he's wondering, and maybe other fans are wondering too, that the part of Kyler Murray's career that potentially is on the line would involve his starting quarterback career. Kyler Murray even said it during or around minicamp. I believe it was after the first day of minicamp. He had a day, he threw 2 consecutive picks to start practice and didn't really do anything great all of that practice. Now, after the practice, Kyler said to the media something along the lines of, quote, I'm used to getting all the reps in practice, and that's not the case here. Correct. But that's correct. But would it be the case if he came in day by day, opening eyes and doing amazing things where coaches and players are like, he's a sponge. Kyler Murray is a sponge, just absorbing every nuance the playbook has to offer. Again, consider Carson Wentz. August 24th, 2025, joins the Minnesota Vikings. 3 weeks later, he beats the Cincinnati Bengals in a National Football League regular season game. That has some sponge-related retention to it. Now, with Kyler, and I'm speculating here, I got no steam on this, and that's fine. A, because absence makes the heart grow fonder. But B, we all get to be surprised together. But I would bet Kyler starts training camp in a few weeks as the one and gets all or a majority of the right reps, and perhaps that's where the rubber meets the road, but there's no confirmation on that. And by the way, let's not forget, Brian Flores' defense in training camp befuddled Cousins and Wentz and Darnold, and all 3 of those guys are scholars of the game. The Ravens joints, the joint practices with the Baltimore Ravens, the old rough and tumble Baltimore Ravens. That is where it absolutely will be required for the Minnesota Vikings' number 1 quarterback to look the part and make plays. When the Baltimore Ravens are in town, like a month and small change from now, personally speaking, I cannot believe head coach Kevin O'Connell is going to want to have a quarterback battle at that point of the equation. I mean, I would think the starter, the super special one, would have to be settled by then. Now, again, Kyler has earned more than $200 million during his career, yet is at a point where a new regime in Arizona decided we'd rather argue with Jacoby Brissett's agent over his value than have you around. So they gave Kyler Murray $30+ million to leave. Personally speaking, if I'm him, that's a look in the mirror moment. Like, why? I mean, the cash is cool before or after taxes. Thank you. To a certain extent, I earned it. But you want to give me you want to give me 95% of what I'm owed, and then I get to leave and go somewhere else? All right. So, that's personally speaking, that would be a look in the mirror moment. Does Kyler Murray care about league cred? I wouldn't, but if he does, there is an immense amount of that to be regained. Does Kyler Murray care about starting? That's a 10 of 10 yes. I'd guess that's a 10 of 10 yes. So, what's Kyler Murray playing for? Is his career as a starter truly on the line? Is he more apt to go lights out or flicker like a flame, holding on for dear life against a stiff breeze? How much pressure is the coaching staff feeling to make this work? This is the single most riveting Vikings training camp story and single most important facet toward the team winning a bunch of games. The reinforcements have positives for sure. The quarterback's room is deep, and I like it, and I think you should like it too. As a crafty veteran with cunning and guile who picks up a playbook, goes sponge on it, beats Cincinnati 3 weeks later. Then you got the first-round pick into his third year from Michigan, went to Ford Field, exorcised Ford Field and Lions, Jahmyr Gibbs-related demons, and beat the Kitties. But he's only started 10 games. But Kyler Murray, he is one capable of mesmerizing the masses. There are some learned football people in the game, as I've learned after Marty put me on this bit. Thank you, Marty. FEMA, Fairness and Marty Act. There are some learned, scholarly football minds who do believe Kyler Murray is playing for the starting portion of his career. Is he more of a reclamation project than Sam Darnold was? The answer is yes, for sure, because unlike Darnold, Kyler Murray wasn't permitted to take starter snaps up to training camp or take all of the starter snaps up to training camp. Sam, the man who used to play on the Fan, got by far the lion's share of the offseason work a starter would receive. Kyler didn't. And the last time we heard him speak, it's fair to say that was not his preference. So what does he do with it if and/or let me think this out. So what's Kyler Murray going to do with it if and/or when he gets to training camp and all of this is in front of him? Are there going to be cut reps in training camp? And with Kevin O'Connell and the Viking staff, how are they going to handle this? I cannot see O'Connell using the vital time training camp provides to have Murray and McCarthy go nose to nose, down to the wire, in a match race for the money. But I might be wrong. And I don't know where .com Tom Pelissero, NFL Network, ESPN's NFL Network, whatever it's called these days. I don't know where he was, but like it was vast and there were giant trees and I think there were mountains. And so it looked like he filed this little report with somebody, ESPN, the Rich Eisen show, whatever, abroad. and I saw it on social media yesterday. It was a short clip, but Tom Pelissero is as plugged into the Minnesota Vikings as anybody you'll ever meet. And when he shares with honesty, but he lays it out in a way we all can understand kind of what's happening to a certain extent inside the building. And to paraphrase .com Tom, you know, he did not have a conclusive answer to what's going to happen with this quarterback situation when training camp begins in less than a month. What if it is Murray and McCarthy down to the wire together, nose to nose in this match race for the Minnesota Vikings starting quarterback money? Personally speaking, the hope is Kyler Murray is in his playbook every single day in preparation for what's coming. And there is a quarterback running aspect of the equation nobody has seen yet. Not at minicamp, not at organized team activities when media was permitted to be there. Oh, it's there. I mean, I've said it before. This man runs like the wind. He is one of the greatest natural runners as a quarterback I've seen since Mike Vick. And that's because when he gets past the line of scrimmage and he knows he's going to make the linebacker or the safety miss because that's what he does, God gifted him that way. When you watch these runs back, one of the wonderful things I like about it when Kyler Murray runs is his head's up, his eyes are down the field, and he's always looking for the next set of ankles to break. So he's not necessarily looking at the guy in front of him. He has him beat. He knows he has him beat. He's looking at the next guy. He wants to beat him and break his ankles along the way. The running aspect of the equation is a very, very potent part of this potion. That is going to be special, but if the consistent passing fails to be what is required, Kyler, the creator, and the offense are going to have a little problem. The Vikings believe they have an answer to that problem and an answer for the test. And it's the newfangled running game and the schemes delivered and assumedly designed by new assistant head coach Frank Smith, who is ballyhooed, and all the letters are all caps, starting with B, ballyhooed. All caps. This guy's ballyhooed. Very, very well respected in league circles for what he has brought here. After being offensive coordinator for Mike McDaniel in Miami. Mike McDaniel, formerly offensive coordinator for Next Level Shanny in San Francisco. So we got Juszczyk sprinting over there. We got guards pulling over there. We got Juwan Jennings, who now is with us, blocking down the field by design. So I'm very excited to see how impactfully the Minnesota Vikings run with schemes and ideas for a newfangled running game, assumedly delivered and in part designed by new assistant head coach Frank Smith. How much will that help Kyler? How much is that part of the equation when it comes to, is Kyler Murray in any way playing for any form of his career? And that would include his starting career here, there, or everywhere. The running aspect is key. It's important because he's good at it. He's very good at it. And defenses become deflated when it's like 2nd and 9 or third and 7, and you know you go 4 wide and you got the quarterback under center or out of the shotgun, and you know they decide they're going to play man defense, and Kyler sees it or a quarterback sees it and he decides to run, and he gets 12 yards and gets a first down. When quarterbacks run for first downs on 2nd or 3rd and long, debilitating, frustrating, people getting so sad because they didn't see it coming. And it's antithetical to how most teams consistently, on average, get first downs. Kyler will get you a lot in the running game. How much of it will be by design? How much of it will play into Kyler, the reclamation project, as Kyler, the creator, looking to give this team his very best, because he's been considered the very best a majority of his life. And if I'm him, I want to rejoin that covenant. I want to be considered one of the very, very, very best again. So I came to a team that has a coaching staff that took a reclamation project named Sam Darnold and made him what? One of the very, very best in the league that year. So good, somebody gave him $100 million to head Northwest and win a Super Bowl and party with the Lombardi. So it's possible. It's right in front of him. Super excited to follow it. Minnesota Vikings training camp 2026 is one of the more fascinating we've had in a while for sure, because of the new kids on the defensive line, Banks and Citrus. But Kyler Murray has some shiny toy to him. And he is a legit reclamation project in search of saving a starting career. And Kyler Murray, very much could hold the key to high-end Minnesota Vikings offensive success. And 9 to noon cannot wait to see it develop. We'll be back after this.
This is 9 to noon on The Fan.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY
9 to noon needs to crown a Northern Fire talkback champion before we say goodbye. So let's empty the talkback contraption and see what Rube Nation has up its tattered sleeve.
Good morning, PA and Nordo. My concern with Kyler is that he absolutely balls out this year, and we are forced to extend the contract because we're not going to make the Darnold mistake again and let him get away. And then he becomes complacent, and the narratives of video games and lackluster attitude, laziness creep in, and we're stuck with mediocrity for 5 years.
Dang. Didn't even ask for a Kyler talkback and got one. Well, no, I see. I think you boxed yourself up there a little bit by saying the concern is Kyler Murray has an amazingly good year, a very good year. Then I'd be willing to just start, if he's the full-time starter, I'd be willing to start with, hey, I'll take the amazingly good year and then deal with what's next for him from a contractual standpoint. And you know, the phobia or the fear of having somebody, you played a major part into turning things around for him. All right. I mean, Nordo said it many years ago. It was the fool me once, shame on, fool me twice. Well, they say something like that down in Texas. But that
can't get fooled again.
Yeah, that would play, that'd be fine. And the reason it wouldn't really concern me is because Kyler would be staying in this culture with these players and with these coaches. So, you know, the genesis of the talker was, what part, if any, is Kyler Murray playing for his career?
Right.
And it really, I mean, if he completely bombs out, which he won't, gets benched, and then is gone, it's 10 of 10. Somebody signs him as a backup.
Yeah.
Because you know, with the arrogant shield, they all think they can find some potion, some secret sauce that others don't have. And darn it, we're going to be the one that turns things around. We'll see.
Yeah. My worry in that regard would be less that you have this amazing season. I'd love to have an amazing season. My biggest worry as of this moment is that, you know, we get far down the road in training camp and we're still where we're at right now.
Yeah,
where neither has truly differentiated themselves.
See, I'm starting to think about that, and I didn't, you know, it's like I just said in the last segment, you know, .com Tom Pelissero, as good as it gets when it comes to handling opinions or breaking news with the NFL, specifically the Vikings. And he's on vacation. And I saw this little social media clip yesterday with .com Tom where he laid it out like maybe up to the Ravens' joints, there could be a 1-2, 1-1A battle for the starting job.
Yeah.
I just can't believe that's how Kevin O'Connell would want it to go. Doesn't mean it won't go that way. But you're coming off minicamp where, like I said very early in that in that monologue, that in the first day of minicamp, Kyler's first 2 passes were picked, and he had a bad camp. All right, he had a bad day at camp.
Yeah,
about the only way to put it. After paraphrasing, he was interviewed by assembled members of the media, and he was like, "I'm used to taking all the snaps. I'm used to being the starter. So therefore, this paraphrasing and kind of adding to it, this cut snap thing ain't helping me." That's the big advantage Darnold when he got here, even with McCarthy as a rookie. That's the big advantage Sam, the man who used to play on the Fan, had. I'm pretty sure he got a majority of the right reps in the offseason. Look what happened. That's not the case right now. It's perplexing.
Back to soccer.
PA, Nordo, Aaron here in Cottage Grove. I mean, what else do you say? It's nothing short of disappointing. We weren't expecting them to beat Spain in the quarterfinals. They had an opportunity to inspire a whole new generation, show what they could do against Belgium, and then, hey, you know what? Play an awesome match against Spain, leave us all inspired. And instead, they drop a big fat L. The hockey team, what they did back in the Olympics was phenomenal, and soccer had the opportunity too, and they dropped it. I don't know what else to say.
You want to watch or hear an L, and maybe people did. And okay, the pre-halftime and postgame show on Fox, is it Thierry Henry?
Thierry Henry, yeah.
Say it again.
Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry and Ibrahimovic?
Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
There we go. I mean, you listen to those smug guys. I enjoyed their coverage, and they didn't outwardly come out. I'm not saying they were rooting against the USA, but if you believe the world looks down its proverbial nose at the United States of America and soccer program, like pat it on the top of the head, you're a good boy. Yeah, that's a nice victory there. Those two could not have been any more
obvious.
Yeah, it was coming. I don't know what all of you were watching, but everybody in the world knew it was coming.
Yeah.
Really? We didn't know it was coming like that. Now, FINA, Fairness and 9 to Noon Act, with yours truly, I had no idea Belgium was that good. I mean, it's, I've listened to Nordo, I listened to Manny Lagos, I might have read 1 or 2 things. So, yeah, I know they're top 10-ish stock in the world.
Yeah.
Top 15-ish stock in the world.
But they had underperformed all tournament.
Right. And you said that yesterday, but I had never watched them play. I had no idea how fast and good all those guys were, but
well, that's what they did, is throughout that tournament.
They smelled blood, man.
They had been slow, they had been plodding, and why I mentioned it yesterday, it was going to be a big game for us to have the ball. And that sounds obvious, but that's from a tactical situation, making the most out of possession, dominating it, and limiting their opportunities via set pieces in particular. What they did is they took a couple of their big timers out, Doku and De Bruyne. They started them on the bench.
Oh.
These guys start every game.
Those were the major lineup changes Vox started talking about early?
Yep, and they put younger bench guys in with a ton of speed to match us.
Was one of them that short guy with the very short haircut who was lickety-split fast?
Luca
I don't know, man. They had a guy who couldn't be taller than 5'9", had a very short haircut, trying to look like Phil Collins.
Trossard, maybe?
Might have been a 4'140". Holy cow, was he fast with the ball.
No, they and so effectively they were able to do the exact thing that we had done throughout the tournament, which was we're going to hang on to this thing. We're going to create chaos in the box, a lot of corner kick opportunities, and force you to do something you hadn't done all tournament, which was defend.
Yeah.
And now we know why we didn't want to have to defend with Tim Ream. So,
thanks to Owl Roofing, the 9 to Noon post game is next.
This is PA on iHeartRadio and KFAN The Fan. Guaranteed human.
.com. And I can tell you what the talkback winner will not be. Our friend Jensen Lewis touting the Egypt and Argentina halftime draw. They're approaching halftime. Egypt leads Argentina and Messi 1-0. Messi missed a penalty kick, and J. Lou was super negative. Anyway, here we are.
Hey, we got to meet and learn more about Nate Bubis, who is chief of staff, assistant coach with the Timberwolves, and Chris Finch, but he's also the Summer League head coach. Here he is talking about his squad in the 702.
We really like our size. Like, we're big. We're like a throwback team. We got lots of bigs. We have Rocco and Johan, who have been a part of the program for a year, and then we have this kid we drafted, Trey Kaufman-Wren from Purdue, and they played massive at Purdue too. He played the 4 as a 6'9" guy, so he's a throwback 4. And so between those three, we have a lot of size, and then we have a good point guard to put pieces all together, and Zion Pullen, who spent his year in the G League and is now a two-way with us.
Ooh, terrific conversation with Bubis, and that'll be podcastable momentarily. Also a great chat with Jensen Lewis, Guardians analyst. He does have a little bit of a wagering bent to him. The halftime draw definitely went the wrong way, but maybe things go the right way for the Minnesota Twins against this Cantillo cat.
Joey Cantillo, and again, you probably have a little inconsistency there with him tonight. Just a guy that has shown in spurts, PA, that he's capable. But also, the command can elude him at some points, and I think that's what I'm fascinated by just with this one out of the chute. It has been tougher on the road. I believe his ERA is almost a full run higher away from Progressive Field, and he has had a tendency to give up a few more home runs. So if he has sort of that erratic command early, falling behind in counts, it'll be an opportunity for the Twins to try and do some early damage.
And that's today's post game, brought to you by Owl Roofing. And as we wrap up 9 to noon, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Aaron Anger.
Yeah.
Aaron from Cottage Grove is our Northern Fire Talker Tuesday Talkback winner. Yes, huge opportunity. And Team USA did a massive L on the biggest of stages. But Aaron's getting a W because he's getting a $25 gift card to Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply in Minnetonka.
A lot of good times today, last night.
I love my country.
Not so much. Thank you very much for listening to 9 to noon. Thank you for the talkbacks. For Nordo, I'm Paul Allen. May God bless you and all of your families. And thank you for listening to FM 100.3 KFAN. Here comes the program. It's next.
If it's good news or money, leave a message.
Podcast today's Paul Allen Show, or listen back to previous show and interviews by going to the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
From the 1-800-ASK-GARY Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety.
Southbound 35E.